Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I know it's kind of dark, right? Let me see if I can maybe brighten up a little bit. But wanted to just come and talk to you voiceover artists. If you guys watch this channel, obviously you're VO artists, you're people that need VO work. But what I really like to do is help the stuck, the struggling voiceover artists really build an amazing business. And one of the things that I know is probably part of the biggest issue that voiceover artists have is getting clients. And, we're in this, hey, good morning, Joanne. Glad to have you here. The biggest struggle that we have is getting clients. And I won't say it's because of the information that's out there, but it is because of the information that's out there. The things that people continue to do day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and not getting any results and thinking that something new is going to happen when in all actuality, if you keep doing the same things that you've always been doing, nothing new is going to happen. That's like the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting different results. And these things just don't happen. So what do we need to do? What are the things we really need to consider? One of the biggest issues and that I see with so many voiceover artists is lack of patience. I mean, big time lack of patience. Thinking that, if you hire a coach, if you take a course, good morning, Al, glad to have you here. If you do all these things, you plop down some money that's going to be the answer to what it is that is going to help your voiceover business grow. You paying money to anyone is not a guarantee that things are going to change. And it was interesting enough. I've had so many different conversations with people that talk about trying to build a voiceover business, and literally it like blows my mind. Say, well, I'm going to quit doing this because, things just aren't working. And I'm like, well, how long have you been, trying to do this thing? Oh, well, I started back in September. I'm like, it's November. What do you started back in September? There's this air that is in the voiceover community. And it's not just in the voiceover community because it crosses all platforms as far as businesses go. The era that we live in is what I used to call the microwave era, where people just want it to happen pretty much without putting any work in at all. And let me just tell you, if you don't know, building a voiceover business is hard. And I've heard so many people say, well, I wanted to get into voiceover because it looked easy. Any business that you're going to build is going to have some extreme hardness, and it's going to take some thinking outside of the box, if not even creating your own box with this. One of the things that has helped me over the years is that I'm not afraid to try things that no one else is willing to try. And I mean, go all in on it, not just try it for a week or two, but really develop a really good sound strategy behind doing certain things. And people will send me emails, they'll send me an instant message or something, say, hey, should I try this? And my answer is always, well, how do you know it'll work if you don't try it? You want me to tell you to try something, but we live in such a miraculous time and in such a miraculous age that things that may not have worked 2, 5, 10 years ago would work today. Coming up on, December 17th, I'm going to be having, for everyone that's involved with the Get It All from Earl Hall program. If you don't know about it, the link's in the description. On December 17th, for everyone that's in that program, I'm going to be talking about my own personal strategies going into 2020. I'm going to be talking about the outside of the box things that I'm doing right now to really build momentum for what it is that I want to do coming into 2020. And I'll talk about one of those things now. I've said it in passing, I think a couple of times, and it's about developing your own unique business. And I've had some clients that have tried it. I try it myself and it works, but it's building a business around what you do. Now, what does that mean? Because most voice actors are dependent on the platforms. They're dependent, like the pay to plays. They're dependent on the freelance sites like Fiverr, Upwork, things like that. And a lot of that is sitting back, what I call sitting back and waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough, or sitting back and waiting for an order to come in, or whatever it is. So, what I, over the course of this year, have done is created my own business around voiceover. And this is what I mean. Um, and this takes time, it takes a following and things of that nature. So, what I did was is I said, you know what, this is one of the things I'm really good at. So I started creating book trailers for authors because I know a lot of authors. I mean, it's like an unlimited amount because of the different connections that I have. And so what I did was I have video production skills as well as obviously voiceover skills, right? So I created a product and a program geared just to authors. And that has made me so much money this year. It's unbelievable to me that it has worked out this way. Because instead of sitting back and waiting for a pay to play or for a freelance site to give me work or to put work in front of me, I decided to go after work. Now, you can do that on a pay to play or freelance site, but let me just tell you this. If you're on a pay to play and you're on a freelance site and you're complaining, you need to stop, because that's the ecosystem you're working in. And either you're going to go all in on it, or you're going to complain half the day or 3/4 of the day about it. And what I'm talking about, stop complaining, when you're competing like on a pay to play or freelance sites, obviously there's hundreds of thousands of people that you're competing against, which means you're going to have to do a lot of work. And there's nothing wrong with this, because what we do is, in many cases, is about the audition. It is about the demo. It is about, our audio production skills and things of that nature. Good morning, Lori. So if you decided to go into voiceover and you decided to compete that way, which there's nothing wrong with, you better be doing more than anyone else is doing. I'm talking about auditioning your entire day, because there really is no marketing from that standpoint. If you're going to play in that ecosystem, there really is no marketing to do. It's only auditioning. What I opted to do was go a different route, which was more along the marketing route of actually going after companies, going after people like authors, and making my pitch to them. But it wasn't even really a pitch. It's like, this is what I can do. Do you want this? One of the strategies I've even done, which is so amazing, is I went for one of my clients. I said, you know what, I need to make a little something special here. So I went in and I took I had completed their book trailer or whatever. And I went in and I made another little thing, about 30 seconds, that popped. And I put it up and I said, hey, if you want one of these, it'll cost you $50. It was a 30-second promo spot. It was killer. And I tagged that author. I tagged that person in it. Well, the person that I did that for was the first one to raise their hand. I want that. So that was $50 that I made right there on the spot, because I went in proactively and did something and put it out there. It's one of those things, and this is what they used to do in back in the early 90s. Magazine companies or people that created magazine ads, they would look at an ad from someone else in a magazine and they would recreate the ad and they would send it to that person and say, hey, do you think this looks better? Do you want this? And that's how they would sell their magazine ad. You can do the same thing in voiceover. Now, it's going to take some time. Now, look, don't adjust your complete strategy just on my word, I'm just giving you suggestions. Because if you do a strategy and you've only been doing it for 2-3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, you don't really have any data on whether that strategy works or not. So, but one of the things that you could do is that if there are people that you want to work with, and I'm going to add this caveat. Stop going after Disney. Stop going after the high ticket folks or whatever. Look at the people that show up in your Facebook feed that own businesses, small businesses. Do a voiceover for them. You can put, watermark or whatever it is that you want on the voiceover. Send it to them. Do some research. Send it to them. See what they say. You may surprise yourself. You may surprise yourself of doing 10 of those a week, that you might be able to sell 2 to 5 just by being proactive. These are the things that in the world that we live in today, these are the things that are going to have to change because of the marketplace that we're in, and it is so saturated. There is such a high level of competition from people that are really expert, from people that are just starting out with a USB mic. Plenty of people that are starting out with a USB mic are stealing all of your clients and making a bunch of money. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this more going into 2020. If you're looking at the rate sheets from the GVMA or whatever those things are called, the different rate sheets on how much you should charge for voiceover, that world is over. It's gone, especially at a certain level. And most of you aren't at that level where you can charge that amount of money and make it consistently. But if you were to reduce that price, let's say 50%, let's say 70%, you would make a whole lot more money than being stuck on a rate sheet that was created 20 years ago. Right? So there are going to be different people to tell you different things. You've got the crowd out there that has been crying for the past 5 years about, you guys are lowering the standards, you guys are lowering the rates that we're able to get paid. It's called the marketplace. It's called the marketplace, and it's called what people are willing to pay. Now, if you're going after, small businesses or, entrepreneurs, one man shops and things of that nature, they're not going to pay you. They can't pay you $300, $500, $1,000, but they can probably pay you $150. Now, imagine if you had 10 of those clients. Imagine if you had 20 of those clients. Imagine if you stopped listening to the madness. And I know people are going to give me pushback on this because so many people are talking about, lowering the rates. It's the marketplace. And the more competition that you have in the marketplace, we're commodities. We are commodities. If you believe that you're a good voice actor, there are plenty of good voice actors out there that can do what it is that you do. And if you don't start thinking differently about this industry and stop trying to make it 10, 20 years ago and realize that it's now this date, we're entering, as I'm making this video, it's the end of 2019 going into 2020. The marketplace is changing. That means you have to change. And if you're unwilling to play in the marketplace, the people that are going to beat you. It's that simple. So what you really want to consider is what type of business can you build around the voiceover business that you're trying to build to really get people engaged in what you're doing. All right. What I'm going to do now, thanks so much for tuning in to me today. What I'm going to do now, I'll take some questions. If you have any questions, I will be glad and happy to answer those questions for you. So go ahead and do that. I'll hang out here for about a minute or so. You might want to type in, I've got a question, and then go back and type your question because it might take you too long to really type out your question. So if you have a question, just type in, I've got a question. And I'll see that pop up, and then that'll make me wait and hold until you actually type in the actual question that you have. So I'm looking at the chat, I'm monitoring it to see if anyone types in, I have a question. And if no one types that in, it's cool. I will continue to go on with my day and continue my marketing and branding efforts that I do on a daily basis. Okay, Matt Gilmore says, I have a question. All right, Matt, go ahead and quickly type in your question, and will be so glad to answer that question. All right. And everyone, I do, in case, just so I don't forget, I want to make sure that I tell you to have an awesome holiday season. I know so many people are winding down right now. We're approaching, it's Tuesday, Thanksgiving is Thursday, and people are winding down, but I'm not. I'm not winding down. I'm gearing up. I'm making this thing happen. So, all right. So, how did you become pro on Fiverr? That's a question that no one can answer. There is no magic button. There is no magic strategy other than creating the best gig that you can create, understanding keywords and how to put those into your gigs, and playing the Fiverr game. The best person that I know about to talk about Fiverr is actually Anthony Pica. Most of you probably know who he is, but you can look him up on YouTube. He has an awesome YouTube channel and an awesome podcast as well. He is one of my students, I should say former students, for the past 2 years. And he is a top rated seller on Fiverr, and he did that within 2 years. He dug into Fiverr and basically really built something substantial. So you want to do a YouTube search for Anthony Pica. Anthony Pica spelled Pica. But he is, I relinquish all of my Fiverr expertise to him because he's a top rated seller and I never have been. But most of my business has not come from Fiverr. So I wouldn't even consider myself a Fiverr pro. What I am a pro at is building a voiceover business. That's what I'm a pro at. Do I make money on Fiverr? Sure, but it's not anything that I would call substantial to my bottom line at this point. But actually, Fiverr will be a strategy that I go more into 2020. And I've started that process now. Matt Gilmore, do you know anyone in the Chicago area that can help me get started in voiceover? No, I don't. And when you talk about, someone helping you get started in voiceover, I'm assuming you're talking about how to get clients. But also there's the voiceover skill set is something you have to learn before you can even start getting clients. You've obviously got to understand script interpretation in this era that we're in. You've got to understand audio production. And if you don't understand both, you will never win. You've got to be a great VO and you've got to be a great audio production engineer. And if you're not, and let me just say this, when you say the words audio production engineer, it sounds big, right? But there's not a lot you need to know about audio production when it comes to voiceover. It's just processing your voice. That's it. And it's an easy skill set to learn. It may be something you don't know yet, but anything you want to learn, you can learn it right here on YouTube. So you may want to do a search for voiceover classes or schools in Chicago. But I think a better use of your time, quite honestly, Matt, is just to Google it, YouTube it, and execute on it. All right. And, because that's free information. Many of you know, some of you probably don't know, I am doing something that many people are saying I'm crazy to do. But if you go to VOBizPro.com, it's the link that's in the description for this video. I'm giving away all my best stuff, for $47 a month. And you also get to talk to me once a month. For $47 a month. It's like, I don't know what more I could do, but either you can go the free route, you can look it up on YouTube and try and find it, or you can join my course and, you can cancel any time. You can get in there, see if it's for you. And the great thing about the once a month thing that I'm doing with being able to come on and talk with me in this group, it's called Get It All from Earl Hall, is that I'm going to answer your questions one-on-one specifically. It's not just a video-based course. It's not just that, because there are specific questions that every VO has that I want to make sure they have the ability to get answered. So that's why I created this. It's all of my best stuff from the past 2 years. It's over 60 hours of information, but also you get me once a month as well. All right, let's see. If a voiceover artist isn't good at dubbing, is it fine? Well, that's kind of a odd question. The only reason I say odd is because it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be dubbing or do you want to do voiceover? Do what makes you happy. I think sometimes people ask questions to see what's an easier route to go to start quicker and make money and all that kind of stuff. And if you're chasing money, you're going to lose. You've got to chase your passion and what it is that you actually get joy out of doing in voiceover. And whatever that is, go all in on that. But if you chase the money instead of your passion, you're going to lose and you're not going to be happy. Can you make a tutorial on audio production? I have tutorials on audio production in my course, $47 a month. Go ahead and join it. I've got it all there. Let's see, Joanne, and plus you'll be able to ask me questions about audio production. Wouldn't you like to be able to ask someone that actually knows how to do something? Just a thought. Joanne, can you recommend a good video on audio production? There's a guy named Tim Tippett. He has a course. It is the best course out there that I've ever seen. I used to be an affiliate for the course, but I'm not any longer. But I know that Tim is great at what he does. It's Tim Tippett, Tippetts. Um, can you recommend? Okay, Matt says, thank you for answering my question. No problem, Matt. Joanne Pitts, or a good one on LinkedIn Learning. I'm not sure what you mean, Joanne, when you say a good one on LinkedIn Learning. I don't know what that is. So sorry about that. But look, I want to thank you guys. Of course, I still don't understand what you mean, Joanne. You've got to give me more context because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Um, I'll put the link to my course once more, and you can just go to the page and you can see all the information there, exactly what you're going to get, as well as being able to talk to me once a month. Brian, I would like to get started on ACX and Fiverr, but how would I do that without creating a professional demo? I've got a course on that in the VOBiz Pro, in the VOBizPro.com course. That's a long answer. That's why I created a course around it. Joanne, you spoke about classes on LinkedIn a few weeks back, and they had good classes. If I spoke on LinkedIn, it was about how to get VO work on LinkedIn. And that's one of the courses in the massive amount of courses that I'm giving away for just $47 a month. And I believe that's what I was talking about. It's one of the courses, basically how to get clients and how to use LinkedIn in order to do that. And by the way, LinkedIn right now is hot. It is probably it is the hottest platform for VO to be able to start getting work if you know how to market yourself appropriately. And that's the thing, market yourself appropriately. But LinkedIn, when it comes to, it's a business platform. People are looking to do business on LinkedIn. Why wouldn't a VO be on LinkedIn? So, okay. All right, guys. Well, you're more than welcome, Joanne. All right. So I want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving and a holiday season. I'm sure I'll be back. I'll be doing these videos a couple of times a week here on YouTube to really see what it is that I can help with and what your real questions are. And if I have to create more courses around what you need, then I will. But the best thing that you need to do right now, $47 a month, which, by the way, it's over $10,000 worth of value. It's over 60 hours of training. Plus you get to talk to me and I will answer your specific questions. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you guys soon. You take care.